Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back and happy Saturday. All right, guys. Well, we're back to talk about Julie Chrisley because she is admitting what she's worried about going into federal prison. Now, we know that Julie and Todd are about to start their sentences literally in like less than 2 weeks. I looked at my hand like I have a watch on it, but it's right around the corner. And that's going to be a big deal because I'm sure everyone's covering it. And then after that, we won't really hear from them aside from this bombshell interview coming out from Todd with his son Chase for the next 7 and 12 years. I mean, we'll hear about updates, we'll know what's going on. Maybe their kids will get another spinoff. We're not sure. But as of right now, we're not going to be seeing Todd and Julie on camera anytime soon. So before we jump in, if you guys haven't already, go ahead, smash that like button. If you're not subscribed, get subscribed. Don't forget to hit that notification bell. And don't forget that we dropped a bonus episode of Hot Messy Podcast yesterday, a video episode on Hot Messy Podcast YouTube channel. And then, of course, if you only listen to the podcast, then just go over to anywhere you get your podcasts and check it out. With that, let's jump right in.
It's time for all your binge-worthy pop culture news. Welcome to Up and Adam.
All right, guys. So thank you to Hollywood Life. Julie Chrisley is admitting to being afraid to begin her prison sentence. And we get that. Anybody who's about to go into prison is not, unless this is just like something that you've done multiple times. Like sometimes I'll watch 60 Days In or something, and you see where the contestants or the people who submit themselves into the program, they're like, I've been to prison 15 times and this is a cakewalk for me. Like those people, okay, I guess they're not afraid to go to prison, but anyone who's really not been, or you haven't gone to jail and maybe the worst thing you've ever gotten was a speeding ticket, yeah, rightfully so, you're going from your big mansion in Nashville to prison, whether they call it the Martha Stewart prison with baking classes and yoga classes and all of that or not, you're still going to prison. Now, this is where she'll be separated from her husband, Todd, she's talking about this during a discussion of Chrisley's Confessions podcast. Released on Wednesday, January 4th, Julie opened up to her son Chase's fiance, Emmy Metters, about some of her worries during the episode. Julie brought up her worries about being separated from Todd while speaking about Emmy's father's battle with ALS. Now, the Chrisley Knows Best star spoke about how she and Todd being split up during their prison sentences was so different from Emmy's parents, what they were going through. She said, it almost makes me feel ashamed that I'm even worried. Unless the good Lord intervenes, your mom is going to have to say goodbye to her husband and she won't see him again this side of heaven. Yeah, that puts things in perspective for sure. I think it puts things into perspective for me because we all think our heart is the hardest thing. And that's the thing too. They're going to prison. Since it's federal prison, they'll have to serve about 85% of their time. So especially for Julie, I just want to do the math really quick. 85% of 7 years is about 5.95 years. So almost 6 years. She might get a year off, but then after that, she's going to have to do probation. It doesn't end there. She'll definitely get out long before Todd, though. And it also depends on the appeal, The difference between the Chrisleys and Jen Shah is that Jen, when she pled guilty, she forfeited her right to appeal the sentencing. She can appeal it, but they can. So who knows? They've been challenging it the whole time, and some say that's why they got a harsher sentence. Todd and Julie were both sentenced to 12 and 7 years in prison, respectively, after being found guilty of bank fraud in June. Both the Chrisleys are scheduled to begin serving their sentences in a minimum security prison on January 17th, literally 10 days from now. Today's the 7th. Ahead of the reality star sentence, their daughter, Lindsay Chrisley, revealed that her parents are making the most of their time before beginning their prison sentence in a December interview with People. At this time, it's basically living every day like it's your last, enjoying the moment, spending the time with their kids that are in Nashville. My parents are definitely dedicating their time to therapy and their biblical studies, as well as their children. They also continued to appear on their Chrisley's Confessions podcast, and they've been sharing their feelings on a bunch of the topics, but she was also saying she's worried about her husband, right? She doesn't know what's going to happen. Is she going to lose her husband? Is it going to be okay for her? And I could see where that would be like a big worry as well. She's like, my biggest fear is moving on and not having Todd in my life. I mean, you'll be able to talk, you'll be able to communicate, but he's not going to be in your life the same way. It'll be through phone calls and emails. It's really wild. It's wild. And I was reading on Twitter where some people felt their sentences were not harsh enough, and some people felt like their sentences were too harsh. I mean, it's like we're teetering this line. But for Todd and Julie, Julie obviously is going to go into this whole situation afraid for her life, afraid for what's to come. This is all completely the unknown. And it's not the unknown in a good way. It's you're going into the unknown just knowing that you're checking into a prison. And while they might call this this is a campy prison, this is a bougie prison, you have baking classes, you have, like home goods in there, and you have yoga, and it's still a fucking prison, guys. I mean, if anybody, Todd really has it worse because, well, I say that. I don't know who the cellmate of Julie is going to be, but for Todd, he has 5 more years than her, and he has this work program, which she might have too, but a work program consisting of yoga, baking classes, and like sports activities is not the same as like Todd potentially scrubbing feces off of a toilet, which just sounds absolutely terrible. I'm curious. I'm also curious too, because I saw on Twitter where people are wondering whether or not the kids will get a show back. I don't necessarily think it's fair for the kids to not be able to continue on their shows. I think that, if they had the ratings, if people were interested in them, now more than ever, capture their reactions, put the cameras in their life. Like if you don't want Todd and Julie, if you don't want to give them a platform, take them out of it and put the cameras right in Savannah's face, Chase's face, have Chloe a part of it, have the grandmother a part, like have everyone a part of it, and just document what is life after them. How are they navigating it? What endeavors do they have? How do they come over this? Because there are other people out there in America, all over the world, who have parents who are going to prison. So maybe this could help. Maybe it'll just be an interesting watch. People are invested in this family. I mean, I feel like there are different solutions to everything. But then sometimes people say I'm naive, so I have no idea. I'm not here to tell you guys what to do. Now, with that, guys, I am so curious what you have to say about this. Mind you, it is Saturday, but we are still posting a community poll. We have our members only live Let's Whine About It coming up this Monday. And of course, we have another episode of Hot Messy Podcast coming next week. We are getting closer and closer to our big move, and I absolutely can't wait to share it with all of you guys. Don't forget to smash that like button. If you're not subscribed, get subscribed. Don't forget to hit that notification bell. And with that, we'll see you next time. Bye, guys. Love you.